Hello everybody, okay, so what we're going to do, so this is what we're going to play with for the next little while. It's called an Aruba internal access point. As you can see, it's got the MAC addresses stuck on the front, so that if these are installed, and that sticker's a really easy peel off sticker too, so we can peel it off. The thing I do like about the Aruba one is that they've got separate lights for the 2.4. It's autonomous. So it's all the Aruba stuff. Well, it's actually what they call a hybrid. Well, if you want to Google it, it's an iAP 215, and it has power Ethernet, which is good, but it also has different flashy lights for the two radios. So I actually really like that, because when these are bolted on the roof, you can actually walk past it. If you want to set some of them as sniffers, and some of them as 2.5, and some of them as 5, you can tell instantly just by looking whether or not they're which radio is operating, which radios are receiving lots of stuff. It's really cool. So we're going to fire this up in a minute. The only thing I don't like about them is that the Ethernet ports are straight up the back. So when you install this flush against the roof, you have to actually cut a little hole in the ceiling tile, because it's not straightforward. There's a little mount clip that sort of clicks onto this thing, and then that clicks onto the ceiling tiles. You know how you've got that classic crossbar ceiling tile? But the thing I do like, which is awesome, is they've got a USB port. Now, originally, Aruba put it there because their customers wanted to install Wi-Fi cameras, CCTV. So therefore, you put one of these bad boys on the roof, it gets its PoE from the network, and then for $0, you just get any piece of crap USB powered wireless webcam and stick it on the roof right next to it, because it gets its power from the USB, and it has and it's wireless, so it's right next to the access point, so it's going to be like flawless connectivity. So, but what they've done, and so this is just power. On this model, it's purely power. On newer models, it has smarts. In other words, it's proper USB. Because the other thing which is useful, and I've talked about a bit, is Bluetooth Low Energy. Bluetooth Low Energy is a technology for beacons, and it's really good for triangulation, it's really good for apps, and all sorts of things. I talk about Bluetooth Low Energy a lot. There's a little tiny hole here. This is a reset hole. So what you're meant to do is you got to press to do a factory reset on this guy. So I plugged in the console cable just so we can see it up here. Is you got to press and hold the button in whilst powering it on. And that should, oops, where is it? There it is, and that should be factory reset. So therefore, here we go. So the console port's in. And I'll release the button and hope that was long enough. Oh, there we go. Got an IP address. It's on the screen. I just couldn't see it. 60.173. Yeah, so this is what I want to talk about. Notice this thing, elected master thing. This is the best thing about this Aruba ClearPass. So this Aruba access point. It's what they call virtual control. Right, so what was I going to say? So what happens is the Aruba access point wakes up, and if it's all by itself, there. See now, notice how the 2.4 gigs come on before it was orange? The Aruba access point wakes up, and if it's all alone, it assumes responsibility for the network. Now, if I had two of these, I'd love to show you this example, because the way it works is they call it a virtual controller. So this is an autonomous access point. However, as you'll see in a minute, I'm going to web into it, and I'm going to allocate a static IP address. And once I allocate a static IP address, that becomes the management IP address. And what that means is that this guy will only want to be managed by the management IP address. Why is this important? Because as you can see there, I am the master. I'm the master now. So it's the boss. So if I got a second access point and plugged it in, it wakes up and it says, am I alone? And this master one says, I'm here, I'm the boss. So the second one leeches the config from this one. So even though they're all autonomous, but this is the power of a virtual controller, you see, because I spend 4 hours programming this one access point. I bolt it into the ceiling. I bolt in another 20 access points and I don't even touch them. As long as they've got the same trunking setup, they wake up, they DHCP, they broadcast on the same layer 2 subnet, they find the master and they program themselves. Because the first one that wakes up is a virtual controller. So what I want to do is I want to give this guy an IP address so that we can do virtual control. I might just move it over here so I can actually type. It has woken up and it's got this IP address. So theoretically, 60.173. Oh no, hang on, it's going to let me do it. So admin. Now remember, I factored this. I pressed the key in and I factored it. So right now we're doing the. All right. So first thing, like all good wizards, first thing we got to do is set it to Australia. Now it says it needs Java, so we'll ignore that and we'll close this because all we need to do is there. See, look at this virtual controller IP address. Once we give that a proper address, then we're good to go. So system virtual controller IP address 192.168.60. Where's DHCP start? It starts at 30, so I'll give it 25. Come on, there we go. All right, now we can use a real web browser, so hopefully it will be a bit more better. Yeah, I know it's a bad certificate. All right. Okay, so here we have the. So right now it's still freaking out because. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing at something. Right now it's still freaking out because it has this. The 5 gig radio is off. See how it's orange? Because it's still in setup mode. So what we're going to do is we've got to click on instant and we're going to we just delete it altogether. Wow, delete. All right, so now both radios are off because there's no Wi-Fi. So look, it does have a command line, but I didn't bother to haven't bothered to learn it. I think it's BusyBox. It's not actually like Cisco iOS at all. So no, it's Aruba's own proprietary thing. I mean, a few commands work like show version and stuff like that, but I wouldn't rely on it. But see, it's already. Oh, hang on, no, let's give it a. So what do we got? Launchbox - Aruba - appreciate key. Next, let's just show advanced options because you guys like advanced options. So there's our minimum maximum speeds, zones we don't care about. Throttling on SSIDs is really cool. Content filtering. Once again, just like Meraki, there's a full-blown layer 7 firewall built in. Sorry, there's a full-blown layer 7 firewall built into this thing. All right, no, nothing special about that. It's being recorded, so like I say, I'll try and make it a bit more. All right, client IP address will be network assigned. Client VLAN will be static. Now we've got 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So let's put it on 30. Oops. Just to make sure that it works. So this will be pre-shared key, we'll put on 30, and then we'll do .1x, because remember, I want to do .1x if we can with this guy. So it's going to put on VLAN 30, because it is a trunk, remember. Passphrase, good old super secret passphrase. Make authentication. Now, interestingly enough, 802.11r, there's a vulnerability in that, but they fixed it. So we better make sure we... Now look at this slider here. Personal, open, or enterprise. So we'll do that second. Let's just make sure this thing actually works. Now, look at this. Access control. This is where you can do a full-blown... Sorry, I've got to look here. This is where you do a full-blown layer 7 firewall. But of course, we just want it to work, so we'll just get to work. Now, any second now, those light, there we go. These are both changed to green. See that? Because now both radios are up and running. What I might do is I might just rename this just so that I know what we're doing. Now see this zone? Zones are like a, it's almost like a grouping, a logical grouping. Now we can do our, remember how even the Cisco have different sniffers? So I got monitor, spectrum monitor, that sort of stuff. And uplink, we leave it as 0 because I've got the trunk. The trunk is set to be tagged. So if this woke up, let's say we've got just a trunk with everything wide open, and we want it on VLAN X, we'd go in there and say, oh, by the way, your native VLAN is whatever your native VLAN is. So right now, I should be able to get out my trusty iPad. And see, it's got pretty graphs as well. I do like the graphs here. You know, this is just straight off the bat. So we've got CPU, we've got clients. So let's just see if this thing can get on at all. You don't need to see it because it's just, all I'm doing is just, I'm just trying to join a Wi-Fi network. So it's nothing special. So Wi-Fi, it's not the list. Oh, there it is, A, sorry. A, PSK, what am I talking about? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, join. Bang. Now, any second now, we should see a client appear on the screen. And I'm on VLAN 30. See, there I am. There's my iPad, straight away. So it shows me which access point I've joined, what network I'm on, what IP address I've got. Remember I said VLAN 30, and it tells me my the name of my iPad, which I'll probably have to blur out for this video, but never mind. But have a look at this as well. Look at these graphs. In fact, maybe I'll do something on my iPad to try and actually get some traffic going. So it's a bit hard to see, but there's some pretty graphs that are slowly forming. We'll just leave that there. I wonder why my speed is red. That's a bit disappointing. Well, signal's strong, of course. So I'm on the A radio. See, type A on the frequency 149. And look, it's detected that I'm an iPad as well. So these are the little things you can do with your policies. Set up policies just like layer 7 policies. So let's go through the system again. Let's just have a bit of a look and see what we can see, because I've forgotten. So that's the virtual controller. So if I had 10 more of these, right, and I plug them in, if they were brand new factory out of the box, what would happen is they would automatically learn this SSID and start broadcasting it immediately, because that's what I've configured. That's what I'm saying. This is the master. So everything I configure on it, everything that joins it will be a slave of this. And this is the other good selling point about Aruba, is that let's say I've installed 15 of these things. And the very first one's the master, right? That's fine, that's the master. Now, let's say the master dies. Well, another random one of these access points will realize between them, the other 14 that are left, say, oh no, the master's gone. So I'll have a bit of an arm wrestle, and then one of them will randomly choose to become the new master. Here's what's important. The new master will also take on the responsibility of the virtual controller's IP address. So from a management, from a logging, from an SNMP, nothing changes. So basically, if you've got 15 of these guys, you've got N+14 redundancy. Actually, just want to do one thing. Where's time? I want to set the time on this thing, because the time is important. Time zone, where are we? What's this done, alphabetically or time? Time. So we're +10. Bang. Okay. Let's see if it sets the time on us. Looks pretty good. .68.A.20. I'll probably click cancel on the main screen and not on the other screen. So that changed another setting and I didn't want to break it. Alright, let's see if that stuck. Come on. Yes, okay. Let's create a new SSID. It's called -A-dot. Now this guest thing is a whole other animal, and it talks about it does weird things with Captive Portal and Splash Page and that sort of stuff. But you need another you need another thing. So we'll put it on 40 to begin with, and then go next. We'll go Enterprise. We'll go that. All right, here we go. This is it. So next, is that enough? Okay. I'll get my iPad back out. I'll move the camera and try not to make it you all get seasick. And spinny, 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 spinny. Now it should be on 40 because we hard coded it to 40. Excellent, awesome. So that's 40. So now, so there we go. We've just set up because the radius server is perfect. So we just set it up. So now let us fix. Let's try and figure out how to make it so that it is magic. That's right, now I remember. So we want tunnel ID. See, tunnel probe group ID contains is equal to 70, then put you on 70. If, do you know, because remember we set that up last week? So I don't have to show you this, but if I go in and I just turn the Wi-Fi off, so therefore that Steve will be disconnected. I'll notice here too, it said Steve. See, that's another excellent reason to use AAA-1X. We've identified the user. And now I'm going to say join, turn the Wi-Fi on again, and it should automatically join. Yes, it's attempting to join the Aruba.1X SSID, and it has joined. And I tap the I, boom, 70. See, look at that. Okay, well, there you go. I'm officially winning at life now because that was a hell of a lot easier than I thought it was. And I'll admit to you, I have not touched the Aruba. There you go. You can see it. Well, you can see it on screen anyway, but there it is there anyway. 70.30. Oh, sorry, no, you can't see that. 70.35. So once again, we've used the same radius server, and we have managed. And we've managed to do everything we wanted to do with this guy. I just wanted to show you the lights too. So one more thing, and then I should. All right, see, there's Steve. See, and it's on 70. And if we go in here, so now the reason why I use that private ID one, because that's the way Cisco and Meraki want it, quote unquote. So under here, if you were feeling lazy, not lazy, if you were feeling, if you were using Aruba ClearPass or were you using something else, look at how many different variables the back end could push back at us. So let's say maybe we had LDAP and we had something like group membership. What have we got? domain name. Maybe if we just attached this server using an LDAP server and we just used groups, then we could use groups, domain name or group name. We wouldn't even need to set radius up as that's what I'm trying to say, group name. So if the Aruba, this is a benefit of the Aruba one, is that we almost wouldn't need radius. We just need a domain controller. And we'd point this device using an LDAP query. And when Steve tries to log in, we get a group membership and it says, oh, are you a member of Group Special Wireless? Yes, you are. Put you on this VLAN. Stuff like that. So it's you know, you can either rely on the radius server to do all these smarts, but within Aruba, it's got a lot of this sort of stuff hooked in as well. You know, look, there's so much stuff in here. All I know is that these ones are the generic ones. So this one here, private group ID, it's the generic one. It's the IEEE one. So Cisco understands it, Meraki understands it, Aruba understands it. So the one setting on the one radius server services all our Cisco wireless LAN controller, all our Meraki autonomous cloud, and all of our Aruba standalone. So that's really exciting. All right. So I'm super pumped that we got that to work. Last thing, the only thing we haven't got working is that splash screen thing, because I don't think, because the guest access is not as straightforward as I think it is. So if I go new, I go guest, and I go next, virtual control managed next. Yes, okay, here it is. So we have to make this splash page, which is a bit nasty. It's not as pretty as the others. Preview, what's it look like? Okay, we'll give it a go. Actually, let's go back and let's put you on. No, where is it? Network science data. Let's put you on 60. So let's see if we can do this. All right. So this network is not secure. Enter at your own risk. Network launch box. I just want to customize it just for 2 seconds. Redirection URL. HTTP. All right, let's see what. So next, unrestricted. All right, last time moving the webcam around. Oh, see, I've joined, but I didn't get an IP address. I've been on 60, maybe that's the problem. Sorry, I'm an idiot. We'll do VLAN 70. Okay, so yep. Oh, I realised it. Oh, no. I want you to see. Okay, I've got a tick, but I don't have any Wi-Fi. See that? I've got a tick. I don't have any Wi-Fi. So if I go in, okay, I've got an IP address. But if I bring up, oh, hang on. Come on, do it for me. It should, right now, it should be bringing up a login box. You know how the web browser login box comes up? All right, I'll bring it up manually and see if it works. What I want the web browser. There, Chrome. I've got Chrome. Let's see what happens. Your connection is not private. Good, because the certificates, remember we haven't done certificates. So we go to afl.com.au because that's where it thinks you want to go. But where's it really going to go? Sorry, certificates again. Bang, captive portal. So it does have a pretty rudimentary captive portal built in, and you can tell that I've customized it because remember I changed that text. Say network lunchbox, and I tap accept. And it should redirect me to student web. Oh, it's a typo. I put, oh, what an idiot. What an idiot. Edit. Oh well. Anyway, we got it to work. Awesome. So there you go. So now we've done everything that we can do. So basically everything we could do with that Meraki, we could do with this Aruba. The only difference is that we don't have any location management. We don't have the location awesomeness that Meraki has. Everything is local. Everything is 100% local on this access point, and that's all we got. So everything is stored locally on this access point. All right, any questions? Before I let you go, because it's 5 o'clock, I've had a bit of fun.
So, thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe, click the notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment with what you'd like me to make for my next video. I'll see you in the next one.